them an indefinable feel of impermanence, or so it seemed to Ayasta. They were children's play villages of reeds and sticks, doomed to be blown away in the next strong wind. Why did she feel this way? She asked herself the question as she looked out over the dark town. There seemed no reason for her pessimism. Dragon Canoe, after all, was strong in his determination to keep his people's lands and even to regain those already lost through the acquiescence of the Overhill Cherokees from whom he had seceded. Every day, his fighting force grew, and the alliance with the British against the Americans remained firm. Chickamauga Town and the Chickamaugas, as Dragon Canoe's faction had come to be known, should hold fast and remain long. But it won't be that way, she thought. I know it won't. How she knew it, Ayasta could not say, but she knew it. Danger was coming to the Chickamaugas, to their cabins, fields, and townhouses, and also to herself, and worst of all, to Wasi. This was the great fear that gnawed at her, making sleep slow to come and quick to depart. The confidence so many of her peers placed in the British was a plant with no root. If the tide of war turned, the British might abandon the Chickamaugas as they had already substantially abandoned the Overhill towns, which now suffered dire need. Ayasta knew that one factor driving many young Overhill warriors to the Chickamaugas was that most persuasive motivator: empty bellies. Ayasta closed the door and sat down in the darkness, regretting the frenzied activity of her mind. Now she would surely not sleep for the rest of the night. She would remain awake until dawn, chilled by the shadow of foreboding that only she could detect. She had once cautiously revealed her premonition of doom to Atsina, only to hear it mocked. And her brother, Ulagu, who by custom would one day train Wasi in the ways of a warrior, had similarly chided her when she had hinted of her worries to him. After that, she kept her fears private, and in so doing learned something. Fears, like cave mushrooms, grow bigger when chambered in the dark. Wasi stirred again, but did not awaken. Ayasta went to him and felt his brow. Cooler now. That was good. Perhaps tomorrow he would be well, though even if he was, he would probably fall ill again before another month passed. He was a sickly boy. The old women, when they thought Ayasta did not hear, whispered that Wasi was weak and plagued by the witches of this mystic river country and probably would not live to manhood. And Ulagu, Ayasta well knew, was secretly concerned and perhaps embarrassed by Wasi's sickliness. It was Ulagu's hope that Wasi would grow to be what John Hawke had been, stronger, wiser, braver, better than his peers. Yet Wasi's sickly early childhood was not a promising start toward such an end. Good, Ayasta thought with a surge of defiant satisfaction. Good. If Wasi is too sickly to be a mighty warrior, I am glad. His father was a mighty warrior, and he did what mighty warriors do. He died. I won't allow Wasi to die too. I'll not lose him like I lost John Hawke. Closing her arms around herself, Ayasta strode about the cabin, thinking how Ulagu would deplore her thoughts tonight. John Hawke would have felt the same if he were alive, and there again was the point. John Hawke wasn't alive. His warlike life had led him to an early death, and now Ayasta's brother was determined to see Wasi, who was all Ayasta had left of her husband, follow the bloody tracks of his father. No. Ayasta gritted her teeth fiercely. No. Wasi would not follow a path of death, but a path of life, if such a path existed. One thing seemed certain. It could not be reached from the towns of the Chickamaugas. If Ayasta was to find it, she would have to look at another place and seek the help of others, and she knew where the other place was and who the helpers would be. She smiled softly, at peace now. The great war within her had calmed. When the right time came, she and Wasi would find that path of life she so wished for. There would surely be a price to pay in finding it, but no sacrifice was too great for Wasi's welfare. Even the sacrifice of the only way alive she had ever known. Ayasta put more wood on the fire, then returned to her blankets and lay down on her left side, her knees drawn up, her hand under her head. She did not seek sleep, having been too often frustrated when she did, but this time sleep sought her when Ayasta closed her eyes.